Welcome to Simply Felicity. I
Thank you
love
for
how,
having me, my friend.
yay. I am here with one of my very best friends I've ever had, Jaron Love and Life Muzeau, if you want to find her on Facebook. Um, and you see her commenting on my stuff all the time because she's a very supportive person. But today I am here to support her in her journey. This is part of my series of really kind of, hi, Linda. Thanks for watching, Linda Bamba. Great to have you. She's
Yay.
kind of Facebook famous, Linda Bamba, YouTube famous even more. But anyway, um, I am. This is part of my series where I like to talk to people that are clients in the process of their journey. So I called this Joy for the Journey today because we're not just talking about like we do have some pretty cool things to share, but there's so much ahead of Jaron that is coming, so many things that she is working toward. And she's in process right now. But we have some big news about that process to share, an incredible testimony of taking that first step. And I just believe that when God puts on my heart to do a show, it's because of the people that are going to watch. And so there may be someone out there that is ready to take a big step or has a big step on their heart to take. And this is going to be your push. This is going to be the
Let it
thing.
go.
That's going to be this is going to be the thing that tells you absolutely should make the push and do it.
Yeah.
So welcome again to the show, Jaron.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that lovely introduction. And I'm very excited to talk about the journey. I know a lot of times we talk about the end game or the goal, and that's important, right? What the Bible says, Habakkuk 2:2 says that we write the vision and we make it plain on tablets. But we have to also pay attention to the journey. It's not just the destination. There's the journey could be long, it could be hard, it could be quick, it could be easy. It really just depends on what the purpose is for that destination. But I just want to encourage everybody. She's saying joy in the journey. That is so important. Enjoying the process and not despising it. I don't know if anybody else can relate, but sometimes it's not fun. And I'm like, can we just get there already?
Uh,
Can the
that's an actual quote. She's actually said those words.
yeah, can we just get there already? Or like, can the kids just be grown by now? But then when they're grown, I'm going, oh, but wait a minute, right? Because I wasn't enjoying the journey, and I'm being focused, and I'm saying wasn't in that particular instance, being focused on, and that's not even the end result. When you have adult kids, it doesn't end there. It's literally a lifelong journey. Your role changes. You change from disciplinarian and doing that role and parenting to what I look like, more like a coach role or a facilitator role, where we allow them to make choices and do things that they need to do with our assistance and our guidance. But yeah, I just want to encourage everybody, enjoy the journey. It is not about the destination. It I'm telling you, the whole thing is the journey. It's
Yeah,
literally
right.
not the
It's
destination.
all journey. It's all journey and little stopping off points every once in a while. So just to give you guys some background and let you know she knows what she speaks of, Jaren is a mother of 5 children.
Yes.
And
Basketball team.
what?
I have a basketball team. I got five.
Yeah, right. You have a basketball team,
Yep.
5's the number of grace. Praise the Lord. You draw on that grace every day. And I got to know her maybe 12 years ago.
Thereabouts. 11 or
They're about 12 years
yeah.
ago. And we've both been in a program that is so healing. We've experienced so much healing in Celebrate Recovery. We're pretty proud of our
Yes.
participation in Celebrate
Yes.
Recovery.
Yes.
And that's where we met, and that's how we started our friendship. And so, telling the journey, Jaren's been through a couple of marriages with these children. She has uh, had a few job transitions. She's just experienced a lot of different transitions and things in her journey and ended up in a place where though, God had done some really good things in her life, I would say in the last couple of years, things were feeling a little stuck.
Mm.
Um, and just there were dreams and there were visions. And I want to talk about that too. Like, what are some of the end goals that you see? We're going to talk about the process today, but what are some of the things that you see coming forth in your journey? I know you've started a Facebook page you may be getting back to. What and you're doing some coaching to be a divorce coach. So talk to us about that.
Sure. So, part of my background, which Felicity knows from Celebrate Recovery, is I'm a survivor of domestic violence. And even in going through that process and getting out of my most recent marriage, I was married for 10 years, and he wasn't physically abusive or anything like that, but there was some emotional and verbal and some financial things that were going on there. But during that process, I went to the Lord and I said, this cannot be for no reason. Like this literally, I cannot accept that I have been through this for myself only, or that is not, that you can't use this. That's literally the conversation I was having with the Lord. I'm like, how do I help these people at the same time while I'm helping myself, right? And at the time, I thought I was supposed to go to law school. And that's not ruled out. I have not ruled that out. At the moment, that's not the tool, I don't believe. So I went to school for my master's in counseling psychology and said, okay, I can help those people in that way, and I can support them through therapy. And then about halfway through that, I was like, and that's the thing, you guys, I want to encourage you. Don't be afraid of taking a step. If it's not the move, God will let you know. And there's no shame in that. I'd rather I know people tell me this all the time. You start stuff and you don't finish it and you do this and this. Yeah, well, I'm doing something. Are you?
Also, that time was not at
The time,
all worthless. Oh my goodness, the things you learned in that master's program, like there was so much that you even shared with me. There's
yeah,
a lot of things that you shared on social media.
yes,
So that you were there the time you were supposed to be
I
there.
was. But the thing is like they asked me, did you ever intend to finish the program? Yeah. I began the program with finishing it in mind, but it just became to the point where I was sacrificing everyone and everything, and that was not the right timing for that. But I know that for what I'm doing now, and I'll get to that in a second, I had to have that information. I needed the information from the child psychology class because I want to be a GAL. And so that information is helpful, which, by the way, I just moved from a state where you have to have a JD to a state where you do not. And all I have to do here is take the certification class. And
So
because
tell
I
us what a GAL is and a
guardian ad
JD.
litem. So a GAL is a guardian ad litem, and typically they're appointed in cases where the custody is disputed and both parents want different things and they cannot come to an agreement. And so the court will appoint a guardian ad litem to get in there and interview the parents, talk to the therapist, talk to people that they know, and make a recommendation to the judge on what that should look like. That is near and dear to my heart. What I will say is I have a ton of experience with personality disordered individuals. That is my niche, and I'll talk about that with the divorce coaching in a second. But because of that, typically they like to fight a lot in court. And so that's an issue that's near and dear to my heart. I've experienced it firsthand. I've seen it firsthand, many, many, many cases. And so that leads me to divorce coaching. This is a way, and I actually just defined this last night, Felicity. You'll be excited because what we did last night was define our ideal client, talk about what problem we're going to help them solve, and then 5 steps that would help them to solve that. And matter of fact, my notes are right here. So I'm just going to pull. See, I knew I had my stuff. It's a little skedazzled, but I know where everything is. So don't mind me. Okay.
Awesome.
My ideal client is someone who basically is in a high conflict situation with a personality disordered individual, a female, typically, I would say income wise, probably closer to upper class, just because to be able to afford my fee, you have to be able to pay for it. Middle class, maybe. We haven't quite figured that out, but I'll take anyone that, you know what I mean, that is within this group. And what am I helping them solve? One of the biggest things is communication with someone who is a high conflict individual. So how am I going to help them do that?
some reason I can't
Hear me?
hear it. Now I can hear you.
That's what happened. I forgot to hit do not disturb, so a call tried to come in. I
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Um,
That's all
find
right. Let's
okay,
just keep rolling.
okay. So find their voice and setting healthy boundaries. And then that's 1 and 2. Number 3, de-escalate a charged situation. So give them tools to be able to de-escalate. Number 4, possibly refer them to an expert. In these cases, a lot of times there's going to need to be a therapist, a child therapist, a custody evaluator, possibly a guardian ad litem. There's different people, parenting coordinator that could help them with their goal. And then lastly, working with them with scripting and role playing. And you and I do that all the time. I'll say, Felicity, I've got this situation. I need to have this conversation. Can you help me? And that's powerful. I really believe that is the key, is having practiced it. When you're in the heat of the moment and you're in that fight, flight, or freeze mode, it's what's in you that's going to come out. So if you've rehearsed it and you've practiced it, 9 times out of 10, that's what's going to come out. And that's what's going to be helpful to
Does this
diffuse.
tend to be beyond what a lawyer will do in when someone comes to get their divorce process?
Yes, because what a lawyer, this is how I describe it to people. A lawyer's job is to get you a legal outcome. They're not your therapist. They're not your coach. They are not, that's just not their role.
Right.
And a lot of times clients are looking for what I call emotional justice. This process is not for that. They're not going to get that. So what our job is to help our client be, the attorney's client be more credible. We work through that with them so that they're doing all of that with us. It's going to save them on fees because the attorney can focus on the legal work. When you call an attorney with a problem,
Right.
they're thinking, what do I need to draft? What motion needs to be that is how they think. That's how they're taught. But if you call me to discuss a problem, we're going to look at all of the possibilities for addressing that issue, even alternative dispute resolution options, mediation, collaborative divorce, depending on the type of people that you have within that process. But that's the difference. It's really it's more comprehensive than what an attorney can do, and it's cheaper. An attorney is anywhere from $250 to $500 an hour. I'm $150. So if you look at it as cost versus benefit, let them stay in their lane and do what they are supposed to be doing, and then I would come alongside and help them with the practical applying tools to their life.
So it makes that process like a little more holistic.
Yes.
Instead of just trying to cut yourself off and only think about the legal part when you're dealing with it. Okay. Very good.
Yes.
And having worked in law offices, you know when is the right time to talk to their attorney.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they're not going to the emergency room for something you should be going to the doctor for.
Exactly. And that's the same thing. I would know when to refer them to a therapist because the issue is beyond what I'm professionally able to assist them with. And that's why it's important to have a team of people working together to assist the client. So yeah, that's always been my vision, is to address the client holistically. Therapy, coaching, the legal perspective. I can even do career counseling. Another thing is helping them. I can't fill the documents out for them, but I can help them with that process. Having done it, first of all, many, many times with my work, but I've also done it personally. And so for a lot of people, the paperwork part of the divorce is the most overwhelming.
We've got a question here. Are you able to see that?
Yeah. What if you were I'm going to read it out loud. Okay. What if you were divorced but continuing to struggle to communicate? Is this your area? I may have referrals. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And so it's not just the divorce process. If you have children with someone who's high conflict, guess what? You're going to have to be communicating with them for a very long time. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to help people through the divorce process, but also being there for them long term to help them to be able to communicate effectively. Most importantly, I want them to live their best life and to show up as their best self, but I care about the children and they're witnessing this. And so if I help mom, which typically it's women that I work with, then that's going to trickle down to the children. So mom's going to be modeling this behavior and this style of communication. Well, who's watching? The children are watching. And so this is not just the mom, but this is literally affecting the whole entire family unit.
And you have a testimony now of that yourself, in terms of, with your divorce. How long have you been divorced now?
I have been divorced for pretty basically 5 years.
Okay.
No,
So
4 years. My bad. 4 years.
4 years.
September 22nd. It was 4 years. You want me to talk about Amaya's birthday weekend? Is that what?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'm just saying, to go from a very high conflict situation to a place of what happened this weekend, I know is a real blessing.
Yeah. So we used to get into it, and I'm not going to go into all the details for privacy purposes of our case or anything like that, but we used to not really get along, and there would be periods of time where we didn't speak, and that's very difficult when you are trying to co-parent with somebody. And so I asked Amaya what she wanted for her birthday. We just moved to Georgia, and she said, "I want Daddy and Elijah, and her sisters. We weren't able to make that happen. Come and visit for my birthday." So I'm willing to do whatever my baby asked me to do. So I told her dad what she wanted, and he said, "All right." He got the tickets, and I, of course, prayed because they would be staying here. And I haven't been in the same room with him. I don't even remember for that long of a period of time. I probably before we separated, I'm gonna say. And but I had faith though. I just really never thought that it would go wrong. I never allowed doubt to like enter my head. And the weekend went off without a hitch. We didn't have any arguments. There were times we didn't agree on something, and I would say, "Okay, well, you know, this is what you're saying, and this is what I'm saying. So how do we work?" So I'm not just teaching people to do something I'm not doing myself. Is my point.
Right.
I am able to, like, when he gets riled up, I'll say, "You know what? I understand that you're upset. I'll let you go. We'll talk later." And I'll literally get off the phone. I'm not engaging. We're not doing that. No. So I
Well,
think
you
that's
had
why.
a vision of being able to co-parent peacefully. You've held
Mm-hmm.
that vision regardless. And
Yep.
so, kudos to you on that. And like we talked about at the top, the importance of vision. And so, let's get into this journey of the move. So, yes,
Yeah.
so we met here in Illinois, in like the southern suburbs of Chicago, but
Yeah.
in July, we took a trip, and actually we took a trip together, but the week before you went to visit or
It was the
whatever,
end of June.
at the end of June, and here you are on the plane, and you get a word from God.
Yeah. So this actually happened on my May. Remember when I came to visit Pastor Kim's church for Mother's Day?
Okay,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's when the word came. So I'm coming and I'm minding my business. I'm getting on the plane and I'm so excited. As soon as I heard Georgia was opening, I was like, I'm out. I gotta go. I gotta go somewhere, anywhere.
Right.
I don't care. And that was the first place. And lo and behold, Pastor Kim's church was here, which I had wanted to visit. And so I'm on the plane. And as the plane is, I'll give you a visual. As the plane is taking off, the Lord began to speak to me, and He's saying, "I am about to launch you," which was a metaphor because the plane is taking off. I'm literally about to do the same thing with your life. And I'm like, "Oh." And He just literally began to speak that I believe we all have a geographical location in different seasons where we're supposed to be. My geographical location right now is the Fayetteville, Georgia, Atlanta metro area. And He said, "I am going to be launching you into international ministry eventually." And just what else? That not to doubt that I hear from him, because I had been doubting. I'm like, am I hearing right? Like, am I making stuff up? Why is this not happening? Why, and so I'm like, okay. Oh, and don't worry about the twins, because he
Yeah.
already knew that that they were going to give me a fit,
So her
basically.
oldest girls are
Yeah. So the
two.
20-year-olds,
Yeah.
that was not an easy conversation that I had to have with them. And so basically, he prepared me for that. Don't worry about them. They may not understand. I'll deal with them. And it was definitely a very difficult conversation. They were not happy. They were angry. They cried. And it was all of that. So when I got back from that trip, I had to go have some difficult conversations, which my son ended up deciding he didn't want to go. And I
And
understood.
how old is he?
He's 14, so he's becoming a freshman in high school, and I understand that because he's been with these same friends since third grade. and he wanted to be able to finish that out. So I'm able to make that happen. The twins still live in my old apartment in Orland Park, and he is there with them. Not all the time, but whenever there's school, he's there with them. And but yeah, so even along the way, that process, like stuff kept happening. There was another expense that was being added on. And listen, if the Lord tells me to do something, it's happening. I don't really know how. But I like to say if it's his will, it's his bill. So you said to do it, Lord. So I don't really know how you're going to do this, but I just know you're going to do it. And he did. So we left, I think it was the 24th, and drove halfway. Because I was driving with the kids, and basically, we'll get to that in a minute. I only came with a 4x8 U-Haul, a topper, and what could fit in my car, and everything else went basically in the dumpster.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I see 5 or 6, I don't even know how many dumpsters full of stuff.
So wait a minute, I just want to remember. So this is from May. You got this word in May, and then you moved in
the end of July. Yeah, so less than 3 months.
Yeah,
like 2.5, let's say 2.5. 2.5 months. Yeah,
pretty amazing.
Because I was like, oh yeah, Lord, okay, I'll do that like in a year or two, and he's like, no, not now. And I'll be honest, with the lockdowns still going on in Illinois, I'm happy I did, because I can go out to eat in a restaurant. I don't have to wear a mask. There's no mask mandates in Georgia. I was trying not to get political, but whatever. I didn't make it that way. The state is making it that way. So that was part of the factor. My children, guess what? They go to school every day in person.
Yes.
That's not happening in other places. And so the Lord knew that. He knew what was going to be happening, and everything like that. But I'm grateful to be here. Honestly, I have more freedom. Still not completely free, because the world has literally lost its mind over a virus that has a 99.2% recovery rate. But I digress.
It's so true.
Yes.
And before I get into that, I just want to say too, relationally, like God took you out of kind of a stuck place with like another relationship that you got into. I think you learned a lot. Again, like I don't think it was a waste of time, but that relationship just led into a whole kind of community of relationships that were just like kind of spiraling.
Yeah. So, again, that had me questioning, do I hear from God correctly? Because I believe that person to be my spouse. And, but at the same time, I think that everyone has free will, and that the Lord will give people opportunities, but he's a gentleman. He doesn't make anybody do anything they don't want to, including even being saved. It is a choice. And so I believe that choices were available and different choices were made. And so it was not, and that's the thing. I went from, the first marriage was physically abusive, then the second marriage was more emotional and mental type stuff. And then this relationship was neither of those. So I thought that meant it's good. No, that's not all it takes to be good. There's many other factors to that. And so there was never arguing, abuse, or anything like that, but there was a lot of neglect. That was actually really the issue. There was not enough attention being paid to the relationship, and I was operating in an extremely codependent, toxic fashion. I was trying to make things happen. I was doing everything to earn love. And what I learned through the process is that's not necessary. Not necessary at all. And actually, I think it had the opposite effect. Mm-hmm. Because naturally, this person I'm talking about is a masculine man. And so I'm operating in the masculine. And what does that do to masculine? It repels it. Right. I wasn't operated in my feminine. And so I believe I had a lot to do with the dynamic that we had, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just two things is, one, I definitely saw in your situation what I saw in my situation with my children's father, that God gave this person an opportunity, but it also gave me an equal chance to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was
Agreed.
totally worth it, even if he didn't take the opportunity, because of what it was going to mean and do for me and how
Yes.
it changed me and how I grew.
Yes.
So, yeah. And so, like I said, never a waste. You know what I mean? It's never a regret, but when God says move, we move. And so I wanted to get that out before we show these pictures, because they are wonderful. And then you're going to be able to kind of show where things are at in your room now. But I think it's a great metaphor. I think it's a great metaphor for going from a place of being stuck, to a place of just freedom, a place of beauty, a place of loving yourself. So I'm really excited to. I'm really thankful that you shared these with me, Jaron, so
Yeah, it
that we
wasn't
could share them
easy.
with everyone.
It wasn't easy because I'm putting all my business out here. These pictures were taken right before I was leaving. So, of course, it it doesn't look like that any longer. The girls, it's cleaned up. They've painted the walls. Everything is nice and neat. But I had been basically rummaging through my room trying to find what I absolutely needed to take and what could go in the trash can. But I will just tell you that it's taking incredible courage, because there's been a lot of shame around this issue. And so if I can help anybody and set them free from this, you cannot get help if you won't acknowledge the problem. And I am so grateful to be delivered from that situation. But I mean, this is like, even me looking back at it, it is upsetting, because where is that person? Because I believe your external is a reflection of your internal. So where was I that my external looked like this? Emotionally, spiritually, any of those kinds of ways. And like I said, this is not an easy thing, and this is not where we are now, which is the reason why I'm even willing to share this. But like I have had so much shame around this issue, and even right now, I'm kind of like nervous and shaking a little bit. But again, if this helps if one person is willing to seek the help that they need, then I'm willing to do it for that reason. So.
And yeah, and we're sharing this because of what God is willing to do when
Yeah.
we give it to him,
Yep.
right? And so this is what you did. You gave all of this to him, and I wouldn't show it if it only looked this way when you were moving, but there was a bit of this clutter, in
Oh
your
yeah.
day.
Oh
And
yeah.
so,
So,
and I just want people to know that, because people, if you're living in this right now, or if you have a situation where it's getting there, just face it, right? Just face it, and recognize that you're not the only one that has lived this way. And God has a process for you to come out when you're willing to admit it and to give it to him. So we want to go to that now. And
yeah.
thank
Can
you
we talk about
again. Thank
Amy
you for
and
your
her?
bravery to do
Yep.
that. Um, so here is when you first move. So remember, God told her to move in May. She's moving at the end of July. So basically there's not like all this time to save money. There were so many things you threw away. You wanted a clean slate.
I didn't want to bring any of the olds. Nothing. No
She
furniture.
actually didn't even have that table or that chair. She came with that blow up mattress,
That's it.
and her girls had a blow up mattress, and they threw away a ton of clothing,
Yep.
and just really really started fresh.
Yes. Yes.
And
And I want to backtrack a little bit, because the room was the worst room, and the one that I was having, so my bedroom, so much problems. I had someone, a lovely dear friend, who we were bartering with each other, helping me. So the rest of the house we were able to tackle. But for whatever reason, my bedroom itself, I was stuck. I really was stuck. And I think it was more of a spiritual and emotional thing than
yeah,
anything else, because that is where my prized possessions were. I would always try to put up or keep the most important things there. But at a certain point, when it's piled upon, nothing is sacred anymore. And I really, really appreciate the assistance that I had in my friend. She was there for me physically doing things, but also in prayer. I cannot stress that enough. And we anointed the house. We basically walked around and were able to tell things that aren't of God that they had to go, that they had no place there. And so
Yeah.
I want to stress the importance of that, which is why we are at this picture that we're looking at now. Because
Amen. And that's another referral, just so you know. Like, you can definitely message me or Jaron if again, if you are resonating with those
yeah,
pictures and you are in a situation like that, you can get help both
yes,
naturally and spiritually.
yes,
It's
yes,
not, you sit there and think to yourself, just start picking things up.
not
You've told yourself that 8 million times. It's not just a physical issue of
no,
whether your body works to be able to pick things up,
no,
right?
no,
There's a spiritual issue. And so by attacking the spiritual issue, it got Jaron to a place of freedom where she could leave, that she could envision something different for herself, and that she could leave and go into a new situation and not recreate this. Say if you
absolutely.
don't deal with the spiritual part, you can just keep running, right?
And it's going to manifest over and over and over again. And
Right.
that's why, again, I am a firm believer of a holistic approach to everything.
Yeah.
It's never just about the symptoms. What's the root that's causing that to manifest? That's what's most important. And only the Lord can reveal that to you, honestly.
So here's the clean slate that God blessed her with in terms of the bedroom. Now tell us what happened at the
The virtual
housewarming.
housewarming.
It was first virtual, but then you had a visitor come after, and I'm gonna let you tell this story. One of
Yes.
my dogs is scratching at the door because nobody's letting him out. So you talk, because I
I'll
know this
talk. You
story.
take care of puppy. So I had a virtual housewarming party that was back in, I think it was August the 22nd. So about a month after I got here. And first of all, I had a wonderful response and I had people come on and pray with me and I was able to share part of the journey. So it was really an encouragement for me to be able to share that with my Facebook friends and family. And after that, I had a lovely friend that had some gifts for me, bring them to my house physically. And when she came with her spouse and they came inside. So they brought me some gifts and she had sent some money, I think Zelly, and brought pizza. And the interesting detail is it was supreme, which is my favorite, minus the pork part. I didn't, she didn't know that, but literally she brought me like my favorite pizza and gifts and gave money. And then her and her husband came and he was like, man, can I ask you some questions? Because he obviously he didn't want to offend me, but he can clearly see that I have children here and we didn't have any like beds yet or any furniture or anything like that. So long story short, he's like, we want to bless you guys and we want to purchase a couch so you have something to sit on and also beds for all of you. I ended up getting the kids' beds before mine, obviously, because to me that was the most important, was making sure that they had their beds. And yeah, so what I'm gonna step away from the camera for 1 second because I need to pull the blanket over my bed and remove a box, but I'm going to show you the bed. I won't be able to show you the couch, maybe on a later show when we do the finished product because we're still in process. I will do that. So give me 1 second and then
Yeah,
I'll
and
show
I
you
will
guys.
show this next picture
Yeah,
too,
that's my
because
desk area where I'm sitting at. You can see the sparkle sign
like
and
I
I'll be
said,
right.
she didn't have the table or chair when she got there, but she was able to make herself a home office. Um, and God, blessed her to be able to provide for herself by giving her a way to work from home, even as she's working on this divorce coaching. So I just love all her little baubles there on the desk because it's very her, and the word sparkles very her. So yeah, so we're gonna get to see this gorgeous bed that she was blessed with. And again, just love sharing the testimony of what God will do, how God will back it up. If he says to move, you don't say, I don't have the money to move, I won't have furniture, I won't have, this or that. He took care of all of that. So um anyway, you take your time. I can soft shoe as
I
long as I need.
right there. I'm just putting the blanket on so it looks not all lackadaisical.
Awesome. Yeah, you see the sparkle sign there. But yes, I got to put up this up. Jess says you're so brave for doing this, and you really have been.
Thank you. Oops. All right. So I'm gonna turn this. I know I'm gonna keep fussing with it, so let me stop fussing and just show you.
Goodness.
Okay. Let's see how I can
We
turn
have
this.
learned done is better than perfect, and we are walking in that.
Amen. So hold on. I think I gotta go here. Camera, back camera, right?
No, actually,
There.
woo! I haven't seen the pink.
Yeah. So this is the bed with this
Ah,
really beautiful soft blankie. And of
wow.
course, I have to have lots. These are soft and fuzzy. I literally don't want to get out of my bed. I never wanted to sleep in my old bed because it was terrible. And now I don't want to get out of this bed. I even work in it a lot. So, yes, that is.
Wow. That says wowzers. I say wowzers. That's so pretty. And the purple's gorgeous too. So great job on
Yeah.
both of them. So now she has two bed sets.
Yep, I have two bed sets. Do you have a picture of the other one? I sent them, but they might not be queued up.
They are not queued up, and
Okay, that's
that's
okay.
my fault. And I have pictures of the girls' bed too, so I might just add them to the stream or whatever. Just so,
Like in the comments or
yeah,
something.
because I think I have a picture of the couch too. So
Yeah, you do. You have a picture of all of them.
But you guys get the general idea. You've got
Yeah.
to see the process of this bedroom. And I have to say, like, if that represents, Jaron said was willing to admit what's happening on the inside begins to reflect on the outside. And if that's true, like I have totally seen the journey and the transformation, from chaos to order, that God has brought in your life, and just really now laying a foundation for you to begin to say where you want your life to go along with God. So very exciting.
Yes, 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 yes. Now I'm gonna have to take a picture of it nice and pretty like this with the pink.
Yes, yes. I don't think you have that. So you'll have
I
your
know.
whole.
I just bought it Sunday night, so I haven't had an opportunity to take a picture of it made. And of course, when I made it, what I want to do, I want to jump in it. So then it was immediately unmade.
Well, let me ask you this, because I know like maintenance is, a challenge, right? And it was presenting such a challenge, but is it easier now that you have?
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to show you the rest of my room, even though it's not perfect, because that's the whole point. I want you to see that we're in process. Like I have some boxes in here that you'll see in a second because I ordered a 4-inch gel topper. But I make sure twice a week I flatten them. I take them out to the trash and stuff like that. I have to wash the blankets I pulled off. So I'm just going to show you because I want to be fully transparent. Because when I post on Facebook, y'all, I don't show this part. Okay, just so you know, I very carefully crop and curate my photos and videos. So I don't even let the kids take videos in certain spots because you better not post that on TikTok, right? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna turn. No, I didn't mean turn it off. I want to turn it around. Okay. Okay. So there we go. So this is what I was talking about. This is the pile with the blankets that we need to go wash and the sheets. Um, I have an organization cart that's coming to put all these excess office supplies
Nice.
in. Okay. And then these are the empty boxes that I was just talking about that need to be flattened. So it's relatively in order. Again, not perfect. We're just not what we're looking for, but progress. This is
This
all
is
of my,
progress, guys, because I'm
yes,
telling you, yeah, the
you
weight, the,
saw.
the piles in the old apartment were like what I showed you.
Yeah, so you know what we're talking about. This is also laundry. I'm having an issue, and this is too. These are clean clothes. I have a dresser that I'm going to be ordering, and so that stuff is going to be gone. So really, right now, the issue is, and I'm going to bring myself back onto the camera. Oh, no, let me show you my closet because it's not crazy. It's not perfect, but I'm going to show you. So the closet is relatively decent. So it's got
Yeah, that's
some
better than when I
organization
was
going on, but again, some other disorganization. But I want you to see in the process,
there.
because I think a lot of time we see the before and we see the after, but where's in between? This is
That's what
between.
this show is about. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you for doing that for us. And so, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about posting those other pictures because we are going to do this again.
Yeah, we're doing it again when my home is the final product. I mean, that won't be my finish line, but it'll be this apartment, and then the next thing it'll be a house, and then that. So it's never stopping, but at least for this particular journey, we can give them a before, during, and after.
I love it. I love it. And because it's a mode of accountability as well that we're going to be coming back. And I love what God's doing. I love that you're willing to show everyone and maybe get them excited about their own journey.
Yeah.
Realize that where you're at right now is not a finished product, right? But it's also an opportunity. Every place that we are is an opportunity to grow. So, you gave it to God. You gave what you had to God. He gave you something better. Now you give him this, and it's going another place as well. Thank you for giving it to us. Like, seriously, this is what my whole hope was in doing these kinds of shows, was be able to show people in process.
Can you do me a favor? Because I don't think I can quickly get to it. Can you pull up Isaiah 61:3 in the Amplified, please?
Yeah, I can do
And can
that.
you share the screen with that? Or are you looking it up?
I think I'll be able to, but I did want to put up, Linda earlier said this.
Amen. I agree.
We agree with that. Actually, I can share the screen with it. Tell me again, Isaiah
61:3 in the Amplified. And I want to read it if you put it on the screen.
I will.
For emphasis, okay? Because you know me. In my divorce coaching classes, when we do our role playing, I'm like the queen of playing a really good client. I am so extra and so dramatic. But I had a friend coach that's an actress that sort of helped me out with that.
Oh, so you want to put that on me? Very
I'm
nice.
gonna put that on you.
You were you were dramatic before I came, but
Right, but you just helped me hone my skills.
okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. Awesome. I'm just like really giddy right now because also where you're at with the word of God and how often we talk that you mentioned scriptures. I think like before, a lot of times when we talked, you talked about wanting to actually get in the word and how you were going to, right? But now you actually bring up actual scriptures when we talk. It's like I'm just like I'm bubbling over
my
here.
coach too, by the way. So I forgot to mention that part. So that's why she's been privy to this whole process as a friend, and also as a coach. And so I will tell you, it's okay for a friend to be a coach. There is a line. I know sometimes in our personal conversations it goes over into the coaching, but I believe we have a good dynamic. I do take feedback and I do listen, and I respect her as my coach and also as my friend.
You're such a blessing. All right, here's Isaiah 61:3.
All right. So this basically to me describes what he has done and what he's doing. Once you get it pulled up.
Oh, right.
Okay. So
is it big enough?
Yeah, I just have to look close. Okay, so to grant them, those who mourn in Zion, the following, to give them a turban. Oh, I don't like this version. Can you? Yeah, it's weird.
A different amplified, right?
Yeah, can I have New Living? I'm sorry, because this does not have the same effect. You know what I'm going for. I want beauty for ashes, not a turban for dust on the whatever. That's weird. Like, no.
I think there, in your defense, I think there are two different amplifieds.
Yeah, I do believe so. But yeah, if I could have the New Living, that'd be awesome.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Oh, are you gonna switch?
Coming up. Did you click the little spinner? I think you have to click this.
Oh, I have
Yep.
to. I have
And
to.
then it'll refresh it. Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
All
Yes.
right, Turban is gone.
Yes. Good. To all who mourn in Israel. Okay. He will give a crown of beauty for ashes. So you take those previous pictures, that's ashes, right? And then you look at now, that's the beauty. So the exchange was made. The dump, the trash, the ashes into a thing of beauty. Joyous blessing instead of mourning. I was dealing with extreme depression. That is the reason why that manifested. Joyous blessing. So joy replacing the mourning. Festive praise instead of despair, which is why everything that comes out of my mouth is the word or praise or whatever. That is the focus. In their righteousness, they will be like great oaks that the Lord has planted for his own glory. So I just wanted to encourage you with this. That is literally a physical manifestation of this scripture, which, by the way, is my life verse. It goes on to say, we didn't point that part, but to set the captives free, that's part of that. That is what I'm doing. And I've talked to you and Christine, if you'll remember, about a painting that I want done. And I think I don't know how to say her last name. You know who I'm talking about, your prophetic friend.
Oh, actually, I think you got a call because it cut out for a second.
I did, and I'm gonna have to call her. I'm gonna have to because we started a little bit late, and so in the vision that I have, there's a pit, and there are many people in there. It's darkness, okay, and myself and my sisters in Christ are reaching back into the depths of hell and snatching these people out. That's setting the captives free. I need that painting because it is literally a visual representation of not only what the Lord did for me, but what he's using all of us in different capacities to do.
Amen. He gives us the ministry of reconciliation.
Yes.
So I just want to point out on her shirt, you see, "We are limitless," and that is the name of her church, Limitless Church.
Yes,
where
ma'am.
She is now a leader, and she has started a ministry there that they are so happy to have. That's very important for people that are moving to the area to be at that church to feel welcome. So, Jaron,
can I talk about that really quickly?
you're already taking an experience that you had,
yes,
and bringing it forward.
So my heart again is to I never want anyone to feel excluded. I always want people to feel welcome and like they're a part of something and wanted. And I don't think ever we intentionally do anything like that, but I just know in life sometimes that happens whether on purpose or not. So my whole purpose and goal is to make people feel welcome at Limitless, to get them plugged in. We go eat lunch together on Sundays, typically every Sunday. We go have lunch together. I went on a day trip with one of the ladies. We went to a theme park. Just having that community and what started out to be like people that are moving here. Anyone.
Oh, that's
Basically,
awesome.
anyone who wants to come with us, they're more than welcome, because that is the heart and the DNA of Limitless Church. There are no limits
whatsoever. Okay.
None. There's no, and you know because you've been here, so you know it's literally. I don't even know if her and I have words. You would have to come and experience it because there's no words for that type of radical acceptance. That's literally, I feel like Pastor Kim is like Jesus with skin, on, because she's a representation of that radical acceptance. And that doesn't mean we condone sin. That's not what I'm saying, but just radically accepting the person for who they are and where they are and making them feel wanted and loved and accepted. And that's how the Lord, I believe, wants us to be as believers.
I love it. I love it. Well, I think we brought the joy of the Lord to you guys here today.
I hope so. I showed all my business.
Showed all our business, but yeah, just be encouraged that you don't have to hide. You can give it
Nope.
all to God and he will give you beauty for ashes. Jaron, we're excited to see you in a couple of months and see
Yes.
how business is going, see how the house looks. And I know it's going to be an even more of an encouragement. So thank you. Thank you. So proud of you.
Pesos.
Have a great afternoon, guys. Thanks for
Uh,
watching.